Good evening and welcome to the evening news. I am Kayode Adebayo. The House of Representatives has called for the establishment of an environmental restoration fund to be financed by international oil companies to comprehensively address the UNEP and BSOES estimated $100 billion in damages across the Niger Delta. The fund is also to introduce community profit sharing mechanism to ensure that coast communities benefit directly from oil and gas revenues. Adopting a motion of urgent public input and sponsored by minority leader of the House, Kingsley Chinda, the House asked the federal government to immediately halt all divestment processes by Shell, Total Energies, and other IOCs until their historical, environmental, and social liabilities are addressed. The House also said the government should ensure that no divestment proceeds without transparent consultation with Niger Delta communities and state governments. It directed the NUPRC to enforce compliance with the PIA and reject divestment applications that fail to meet the highest standard of corporate accountability and conduct, detailed assessment of new operators' financial, technical, and environmental capacities before granting approval. As the Osun State local government election slated for the 22nd of this month draws near, the network of non-governmental organizations in Osun State has commended the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission, OSEC, for showcasing the great level of improvement in operations as unbiased electoral umpire based on its pre-election preparations. The state chairman of Network of NGO, Comrade Michael Ebofin, who gave the commendation at a pre-election press briefing on the preparedness of OSEC and net nose towards the local government election, said the group is hopeful for a free, fair, transparent, and conclusive election. Comrade Ebofin noted that its members have been observing the pre-election activities on the preparedness of the OSEC and net nose towards ensuring the conduct of a free, fair, transparent, and conclusive local government election this month, which was evident in the publication of the election manual for officials and political parties. He recommended the inclusion of persons with disabilities in the electoral process, calling for an end to the menace of vote buying, and sought active participation of youths before, during, and after the election. The Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria Osun State Chapter has called on Nigerians to move closer to God, who alone has the power to restore the lost glory of the nation. State chairman of the group, Prophet Isaiah Adelowokan, made the call for the 1 day in 40 days fasting and prayers program organized to seek divine intervention for Nigeria, which was observed in all the 22 provinces of the association, including Osogbo, Ile-Ife, Ilesha, Ijebu-Jesha, Iwo, Ejigbo, Ede, Ila, Ikirun, and Odo-Oti, among others. The prayer event has the theme National Rebirth, brought together members of the Advisory Council, the State Executive Council, the Provincial Chairman, over 100 chairmen, and all the ministers and executive members of the state chapter of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. Prophet Isaiah Adelowokan said Nigeria is experiencing different challenges because the people have turned away from God, noting that Nigerians are highly religious but not righteous, adding that it is time to go back to God with sincerity of heart and be a reflection of Christ in words and in deed. The event climaxed with special prayers for the leaders of the country, Osun State, and Nigeria at large, as they prayed for an end to the incidents of kidnapping, armed robbery, communal crisis, and bloodshed in different parts of the country. They also pray for wisdom for the leaders of the country to implement sound economic policies that will make life more meaningful for the generality of the people.
Mercy to touch the heart of our leaders, to make things better for the masses.
The event climaxed with special prayers for the leaders of Nigeria.
In related development, Christians have been admonished to continue to let the light of God shine in their lives, be a reflection of Christ, and illuminate the darkness of the world as they journey in this single world. A cleric, Pastor Emmanuel Asadu, gave the admonition in his sermon during the Southwest meeting of the Christian Association of Nigeria, hosted by the Osun State Chapter at the State Secretariat of the Christian Association of Nigeria. The event brought the leadership of the association from all the southwestern states of Nigeria as they gathered to deliberate on ways to ensure the spread and propagation of the gospel for the total liberation of mankind. In a sermon entitled The Grace for the Journey, the guest minister, Pastor Asaju, spoke on the importance of the grace of God in the lives of believers, noting that Christians can only thrive in this single world if they walk in God's way and are divinely with God. In his opening remarks, the Southwest Zonal Chairman of the Association, Bishop Tunde Akinsanya, reiterated the commitment of the Christian body to intensify efforts in creating an enabling environment for the propagation of the gospel of Christ and the unification of the body of Christ. Earlier in his address of welcome, the Osun State Chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend John Adeleke, expressed appreciation to Governor Ademola Adeleke for the religious harmony, adding that his administration has brought remarkable changes to the state. And now to sports. Brazil defender Marcelo has announced his retirement from football at the age of 36. The left back, one of the most decorated players in history, played 58 times for Brazil after coming through the ranks of the Brazilian club from Nice. Marcelo joined Real Madrid in 2007 at the age of 18. He won 25 pieces of major silverware in 15 years at the Bernabeu, including 5 Champions League titles and 6 La Liga titles. Marcelo was named club captain in 2021, becoming the first non-Spaniard to be given the armband at the club in 117 years. The fullback left by mutual consent last November, following a public falling out with manager Mano Menezes. And coming from the foreign scene, the United Nations Human Rights Council has announced that it will hold an urgent session on the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, which is gripped by violence. Council spokesman Pascal Sim told newsmen in Geneva that Friday's special session will focus on the human rights situation in Eastern DR Congo. Sim also said an organizational meeting will be held tomorrow to discuss the details and format of the session while a draft resolution was being drawn up. It will be recalled that last week the Rwandan-backed M23 group and Rwandan troops seized Goma, the provincial capital of the North Kivu and a mineral-rich region in the DR Congo's east that has been blighted by war over 3 decades. Although the fighting has stopped in the city of more than 1 million, but clashes have spread to the neighboring province of South Kivu, raising fears of an M23 advance to its capital, Bukavu. It will be noted that Friday's meeting will be the 37th special session since the council was founded in 2006. And that ends the evening news on OSBC TV. Please join us at 7 for major report. Good evening.